Hi, Karen. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. I see, hear you fine. All right. I see, hear you fine. All right. Hear you fine. Just give me 1 second here. Just give me 1 second here. Hey, John. John, do you hear me? Your audio's.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to.
All right, can I just move you to the main room? If you could just accept that move into the main room.
No, that's online. You're Hi, Karen.
Where are you at now? Last month, where were you?
Where was I?
Yes, you weren't at home.
I'm still at home.
Were you at home last month?
Yes.
There were palm trees in the background. There's no palm trees in Falls Township, Scott. Falls Township, Scott.
Hey guys, if you could just hold on. If you could hold your conversation just for 1 minute, we're making an adjustment on the audio. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Falls Township Zoning Hearing Board for June 9th. Pardon me. The train's never late. We'll call this meeting to order. We can bring in petition number 1. Rajesh Patel, 149 Mercer Court, Fairfield Hills, PA. Requesting a dimensional variance for a deck expansion, which is over 50% of the existing deck and which encroaches into the 20-foot side yard setback.
Mr. Patel's coming in right now.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Patel has joined.
Good evening, Mr. Patel.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, now you're live here with the board. What we're going to do first is we're going to mark, well, actually, we'll swear you in first, okay? We're going to swear you in with our court reporter. So the next voice you hear will be our court reporter swearing you in, okay?
Okay, sure.
Mr. Patel, do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yeah, sure, I will.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Patel. Now, our solicitor is going to mark some exhibits for the petition. And then after that, we're going to ask you to explain what's going on, okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if we can mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as ZHB1, along with the accompanying hardship letter from Mr. Patel. 2 will be an architectural variance form titled Mercer Court at the top. That'll be Exhibit 2. 3 will be a permit denial letter from Falls Township dated dated October 23rd, 2019. 4 is an impervious calculation sheet. 5 will be 8 pages of site plans and plans in regards to the proposed deck. 6 will be 2 pages containing 4 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted for tonight's meeting as required. 7 will mark collectively as the applicant and neighbor notification letters that are required to go to the abutting property owners and also to the applicant. 8, Exhibit 8 will be proof of publication, the Bucks County Courier-Times, showing that this matter was published both May 26, 2020, and then again June 2nd, 2020. Exhibit 9 will be an extension letter from Falls Township to the applicant dated May 20th, granting the board an extension to conduct this matter due to the COVID pandemic. And I believe that is all of the board exhibits. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm satisfied the appropriate notices have been satisfied. This matter can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Billy Meyer. All right, Mr. Patel, now it's your turn. If you could just tell us what's going on with the deck.
Yeah, yes, sir. So good evening, board members. So I would like to extend my deck from 8 by 8. I have existing 8 by 8 and I want to extend 10 feet. The reason is I have we have 6 or 7 family members, small kids, and we need some outdoor activities. So that's the main reason I apply for deck extension. So that's where my family member can enjoy outside and the kids can also do some outside activities. And the one thing to extending the deck is within the reasonable limitation of zoning board and is not interfere either of my neighbor properties. And the proposed extenders will not pose any harm to public safety and allow me to get together with my friends and neighbors in the future. So that's the only reason, that's the main thing I am applying for zoning variance.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Patel. At this point, I'm going to ask my other board members if they have any questions about the petition, okay?
Sure.
Okay, great. Hey, Scott, any questions for Mr. Patel about the deck expansion?
No, I don't.
Bill?
I have none.
Al?
I have none. Dan?
Doug? You're muted, Doug.
I have none, Dan.
Yeah, I also have, I have no questions. It's pretty self-explanatory, I believe, from the plans we've seen and everything. Any public comment, questions for this petition?
We have no public comment for this.
Okay. Matt, we receive any any letters, any calls into the township prior to the meeting about this?
No, we did not.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, at that point, I would ask one of the board members, would you like to make a motion on this petition?
I'll make the motion then. I move that the application of Pratish Patel requesting dimensional variances from section 209-41, 209-23G in table 1 of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow a deck expansion, which is over 50% of existing deck, and which encroaches into the 20-foot side yard setback of the property located at 149 Mercer Court, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania 19030, as depicted on the plans and in accordance with the testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
We have a second. Sky, if you could poll the board, please.
Yes. Myself, no. Bill,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
and Dan.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Patel, your petition has been passed. You'll receive notification from the township solicitor about next steps, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And
You're welcome.
I appreciate
Yep,
to
have a
allow
good
me
night.
to extend. Yep, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Brian Ritchie is joining the room.
Okay. Okay, the petition number 2, Brian Ritchie, 2 Velvet Lane, Levittown, PA. Zone NCR requesting a dimensional variance to erect a fence in the secondary front yard. Good evening, Mr. Ritchie. Mr. Ritchie, can you hear me?
Hello, how are you?
A little connection trouble.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
It
me?
sounds like he's having connection issues.
Yes, slight connection issue.
Yeah, what I can do is,
Yeah, my
I
Computer
can,
saying high CPU.
let's see if he can, he had another device on that looked like it was draining his Wi-Fi.
Okay.
But
See if you
let's-
can, maybe you can communicate with him quickly and we can, I'd rather not push him till after 3. If we could get this one through, it'd be good.
Give me a sec. I'm gonna pull him out of the room and pull him back in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It looks like it unfroze. Brian, can you hear us?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now. Yeah, your audio, your video is a little shaky, but it's okay. Brian, at this time,
High CPU.
I've announced your petition.
That though.
I'm going to have our court reporter swear you in.
Okay.
Okay? Next voice you he'll rehearse.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Ritchie, do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Could be a problem. Let me bring him out and I'll bring him back in. Stand by.
Okay, we'll try it again. Bless you.
Bless you.
I lost it.
Give me 1 second to work with him.
Yeah, no problem.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check with the applicant in room 3 and see if they're ready. Does that work for you, Dan, if they are ready?
Yeah, at this point, if we're not going to be able to get him through, is there any way to bring Mr. Ritchie on audio only, or is that?
I can talk to him about that. He's trying to download the app on his phone right now, but let me see what I can do.
Okay, we'll give it another minute, and then if we can't get it going, we'll go to 3.
Mr. Ritchie's rejoined the room.
Okay,
Is that better?
that seems better, yeah. Okay, Mr. Ritchie, we'll start the swearing in process again. So our
Okay.
court reporter swear in, okay?
Mr.
All right.
Ritchie, do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Now, our solicitor is going to mark the exhibits for your petition. When he's done, then we'll turn it over to you to explain what's going on, okay? Thank you. Keith, you're muted.
Sorry. We'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as ZHB 1. Give me 1 second. Just confirming one matter. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Yeah, so the application for zoning ordinance appeal will be ZHB 1 along with the accompanying hardship letter. 2 will be a plot plan. 3 will be a sketch of the property and the proposed fence. 4 will be a Lower Bucks joint permit dated February 27th, 2012. 5 will be 4 pages containing 7 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted for tonight's meeting as required. 6 will be the applicant and neighbor notification letters as required. 7 will be an extension letter from Falls Township to the applicant granting the township an extension due to the COVID pandemic. That letter is dated May 20th, 2020. And then finally, Exhibit 8 will be proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier Times, showing that this matter was published May 26th, and then again June 2nd, 2020. That is all the board exhibits, and with that, I'm satisfied the appropriate notices have been satisfied, and this matter can proceed.
All right, thank you, Mr. Billingmeyer. All right, Mr. Ritchie, it's up to you now. What's going on with the fence?
All right. So my property, I don't know if it's the way it sits or how it is, but my backyard is about 24 feet from the back of the house to the property line. So it's pretty narrow. About 3.5 years ago, we started fostering 4 small children. Currently, their ages are, the youngest is 3, the oldest is 7. They've essentially kind of just outgrown that backyard. So I wanted to extend the fence out to the side yard because a lot of times now we're out playing in the front yard. And, I'm just kind of worried, that they may either wander off or, anything possible, right? So I just kind of want to make a safe area for them by extending the fence out to the side yard so that they have a bigger area to play in.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ritchie. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to some of our board to ask some questions, okay?
Sure.
All right, Scott?
The only thing I'm looking at is the distance on the Valor Lane side, the 32 feet that you have bringing it to the sidewalk. Typically, we like to have a little bit of space between the sidewalk and the fence, and I'm concerned about the site triangle too. So,
Correct. Somebody from the township came out and did the measurements. He basically said I should come about 3 feet off of the sidewalk. So it's actually that 32 is going to be now probably right around 30, essentially. That'll put me about 3 feet plus off the sidewalk.
I'm okay with that.
Great. And Ed, the site triangle is clear, Ed? I mean, then Scott had asked a question when you marked it out.
Where he wants it, it is in a site triangle 2 times, okay? One at the corner and one at the neighbors up the street.
Okay,
Okay, so what I did was I measured 3 feet off the sidewalk. He's good.
okay. So if he maintains that 3-foot distance and up the sidewalk, it'll no longer be a problem for the site triangle or anybody driving around.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Bill, any questions?
Where is your sewer line at?
It's on the opposite side of the property. So not the Valor Lane side, but the other side. I have a 10-foot easement off my property line there, so I had to get a permit through the Joint Municipal Authority to get a permit. When I have a fence there currently.
All right, so you're not replacing that fence.
I'm going to be replacing that particular fence. They told me I do not need to get another permit. They said once I have a permit, and if you look on there, it actually says it's transferable, and for the life of it, as long as I don't move the location of that fence, where it crosses over the east.
The only reason I asked, I didn't see it in the packet here. Hold on. No, I didn't see the Water Authority's letter here.
It should be in there.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, it's blurry at the top. I'm sorry. Okay, that's all I had.
Okay, Al?
No, I have nothing. It's 3 feet from the sidewalk does keep them out of the site triangle. Correct, Ed? Like you just stated, from the neighbor's driveway, more importantly.
Yes.
All right, I'm good.
Great. Doug?
I'm good.
Yeah, I have no questions. Obviously, you understand the implications with the Bucks County Water and Sewer. Any variance that this board grants is superseded by their authority, so. Okay, do we have any public comment?
We have no public comment on this item.
Great, Matt, no calls from the end of the office or letters or anything?
No calls or letters.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
Make that motion. I move that the application of Brian Ritchie requesting a dimensional variance from section 209-37C2 of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to erect a fence in the secondary front yard at the property located at 2 Velvet Lane, Levittown, Pennsylvania, 19054, as depicted in the plans and in accordance with the testimony presented by the zoning hearing board. Said fence must not encroach into the site triangle and must comply with the measurements and setback requirements to be determined by the Falls Township zoning officer.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Scott, pull the board, please.
Myself, yes. Bill?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
And Dan?
Yes. Okay, Mr. Ritchie, your petition passed. You'll receive a notification from our solicitor's office about next steps, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yep, great, have a good night.
Next applicant's coming in, stand by. The next applicant's in.
Okay, great. This is petition number 3, continued from the May 12th hearing. Bums Holdings Company, LLC, 140A Oxford Valley Road, Langhorne, PA 19047. Zone PIP, Planned Industrial Park, requesting a use variance to allow leased parking area on property with principal use on another property, and a dimensional variance to permit impervious surface coverage of 62.9% instead of the 50% surface coverage allowed. Does any of the witnesses need to be sworn in?
Yeah, good evening. Joe Blackburn from Whistler Pearlstein here on behalf of the applicant. I'm well, thank you. I am joined this evening by the applicant, Mr. Bum, or the principal of the applicant, as well as Justin Giannotti, the project engineer, both of whom I would expect to perhaps have comment or maybe answer some questions. So we could probably just have both of them sworn in at this time.
Great, excellent. Karen, if we could swear these gentlemen in.
Okay, I'll swear both of you in at once. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Blackburn, we're going to mark the exhibits for the petition.
Very well.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, as you stated, this matter was carried over from previous month's meeting. It was continued on the record. However, we'll still mark exhibits. The application for zoning ordinance appeal will be ZHB 1, along with an extension letter signed by the applicant. 2 will be an outline of relief requested and the reasons justifying the grant of relief that they're seeking. That was submitted by applicant. 3 will be 3 pages containing 6 colored photographs. 2 of which show the property was posted for tonight's meeting. 4 will be a letter from Falls Township dated April 27th to Ed Murphy, attorney for applicant, in regards to the COVID pandemic, granting the township an extension. 5 will be 2 sets of site plans for the subject property. 6 will be proof of publication showing that this matter was published back on April 28th and then again May 5th. 7 will be the agenda and Zoom information provided to applicant. 8 will be a letter from the solicitor from Middletown in regards to this petition. A1 we will mark as the certificate of service of notice provided by Mr. Blackburn, dated April 28th, 2020. This notice provides, as required by statute, the appropriate notices to the adjoining abutting property owners. Mr. Blackburn, I believe I asked you previously. However, you did provide previously to me this certificate of service. Is that accurate?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and then that certificate of service and also the accompanying notice provides notice to the adjoining abutting property owners as required by false ordinance. That's correct?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. And with that, I believe the appropriate notices have been satisfied. This matter can proceed. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Billigmeyer. All right, Mr. Blackburn, all yours.
Good evening. I guess just one procedural question before I proceed. How best should I refer to and guide the board around exhibits? I'm capable and happy to share my screen with those exhibits that have already been marked, or I can just refer to them if you each have copies. I'll take my direction from the board at what your pleasure.
We have copies. If you want to reference some of that, it would maybe be helpful. Maybe we could find this out. Is there anybody logged in the public comment yet about this petition or any interest?
We have none online.
Not online right now. Okay, Matt, did you receive any letters, any calls about this property?
Not for the hearing tonight.
Okay.
We had one previously for last month's hearing, but we did not get any more correspondence.
Okay, so Mr. Blackburn, what I'll say is, if one of the board is having trouble finding it, maybe we'll ask you to share your screen. Is that good?
Okay, great. And then in that case, Mr. Billingmeyer, could I just get some clarification? You mentioned that ZHB 5 was 2 site plans. I know that we had submitted to Ms. Barry, I believe, I think we submitted 3. One was a color rendering showing just our site. One was an aerial showing the existing conditions on some neighboring sites, which would be useful to reference. Is that one of those 2 exhibits?
Yeah, what I think I did, Mr. Blackburn, on the colored aerial views, I collectively marked those 3 pages as ZHB 5.
Okay, so each of those 3 plans will be ZHB 5. All right, very good.
Yes, and then just for further clarification, what I also marked as 5, and what we could probably do for convenience, I'll mark as 5A, which is the zoning plan rendering, and that is the bigger set of plans. It appears to be 1 page.
Okay, so 5A will be the zoning plan rendering. Maybe 5B can be the aerial, what's titled the aerial rendering. If you're tracking.
Yep, give me 1 moment. Okay.
And then 5C, the plan titled aerial exhibit in the title block in the lower right-hand corners.
Received. Okay, perfect.
If we're all tracking that, that's just for my, hopefully make things a little clearer. So, great. Here we go. Great. Thank you very much for your time. Joe Blackburn again from Whistler Pearlstein here on behalf of the applicant, Bums Holding Company, LLC, with respect to its application concerning the property at 140A Old Oxford Valley Road in Falls Township. Subject property contains approximately 1.45 acres and is located in the PIP Planned Industrial Park Zoning District. Notwithstanding that zoning designation, the property is presently improved with a single-family detached dwelling, which currently serves as the base of operations, principally for storage of Alien Fuel Inc., which is a solar panel installer. I would note at the outset that the office, such as it is not much more than an area to receive materials used. There's no client deliveries there. On a given day, there will be only two, at most three individuals on the site. So not certainly heavily trafficked. Although as you can imagine, a single family dwelling is also not very conducive for that purpose. I was speaking with Mr. Bum while we were in the waiting room, and he said they converted the living room into their kind of their office, which you can see him in now. So not the best of circumstances. As you can see on what's been pre-marked as Exhibit A5C, which is the aerial, the property that is the subject of tonight's application is centered, depicted on central to that on that plan. You can see the single-family dwelling located in the smack dab in the middle of that property, and you can see to the south and west a large building with a white roof. That building is the Amazon Prime Fulfillment Center. And you can see to the right of that building itself is located in Middletown Township, the township line being denoted on the plan. To the right of that building, you can see most of, but not all, a fairly expansive parking field, which is in Falls Township, but nevertheless services that Amazon Fulfillment Center. Applicant, as a part of tonight's application, is seeking relief, which we'll get into momentarily, but the gist of the application is really killing two birds with one stone, if you will. The current condition or configuration, or I guess rather operations for the Amazon Fulfillment Center are not at all efficient and create a lot of additional unnecessary traffic on the township roads. What I mean by that is, and again, referring to Exhibit 5C, individuals who come or work for Amazon for deliveries will come to the site. They will park their car in the field that you see on the bottom of the plan. They will then get into shuttles and be shuttled throughout both Middletown Township as well as Falls Townships to various locations where Amazon has separate leases for the parking of its delivery vans. So you've got the drivers coming to the site, then getting in another van to get driven to where the vans are parked. Then they get in that van and drive back to the fulfillment center to load out the van and then go on their deliveries. As you can imagine, for a company like Amazon, that is probably the epitome of the lack of efficiency. So what Mr. Bum is proposing currently is, as I said, killing two birds with one stone, which would be providing Alien Fuels a proper storage facility in the form of a 2,400 square foot building, which is depicted on exhibit, if we can kind of pivot now to exhibit B5, the aerial rendering. You'll see a brown box in the front of the subject property. That would be the relocated base of operations for Alien Fuel, 2,400 square foot, would not allow for or accommodate any expansion of that operation. They're still going to have a maximum of 3 employees on a busy day at that location. But obviously the big thing here is the 83 additional parking spaces, which you see in the rather expansive parking field. which Mr. Bum has entered into a lease agreement with Amazon for the lease of. And what this would allow, obviously, is the overnight parking of those Amazon delivery vans on this site. So instead of those delivery drivers coming, parking their cars in this parking field that you see at the bottom of the plan, and then being shuttled throughout the township to get their vans and bring it back to the property, obviously they're just going to park in this parking field, walk to this the parking field on the subject property that you see, and then come out Oxford Valley Road, Cabot Boulevard, and down through the normal course of processing queue at the Amazon Fulfillment Center. So we're taking a massive amount of traffic off the township roads, both Middletown, but principally Falls Township as well, while at the same time providing a more suitable base of operations for the alien fuel operation that you see in the building on the site. Now, in order to accommodate that proposal, we are seeking 2 items of relief. The first of which, as noted by the chairman, is to permit the lease of these spaces. The lease of parking spaces is not a use contemplated under the ordinance. So that would be an item of relief that we're seeking to permit these spaces, these 80, or rather 80 of these 83, 3 of them being reserved for alien fuels, to allow 80 of those spaces to be leased to an off-site use, that being Amazon. Pretty self-explanatory, I think. And the second item of relief is in order to permit a 62.9% impervious surface coverage ratio, whereas a 50% maximum would be otherwise permitted. Obviously, the intent and design is to maximize the ability to have those vans parked on this site, and coming with that is additional impervious. I would note that this plan, this is the preliminary stage. This would be the subject of a land development, at which time proper stormwater management facilities will be designed and reviewed by the township engineer and then ultimately implemented, which would be designed in order to accommodate that full 62.9% stormwater runoff. So that issue, to the extent that's a concern, would be addressed. I would also note that the neighboring property to the northeast, although it does appear perhaps to be a residential building, it very well may be as well, is a professional office for an electrician. So certainly in keeping with the planned industrial park scope of uses, we think it will have a massive impact on the township's traffic, especially with everything that's going on. Mr. Bum was telling me that Amazon is as I'm sure you're all aware, just going gangbusters right now. So they're looking to not have those cars on the road. The one other thing I would touch on, the reason that you're all aware we didn't proceed at the last month's hearing was that, as depicted on the plan, a small portion of the property is located in Middletown Township. You have been, and the concern of the board was proceeding with this application without input from Middletown. So we continued the hearing. We had conversations with the Middletown Township solicitor and manager and zoning officer, as reflected in the correspondence marked as Exhibit ZHB 8. Indicating that the Middletown Township has no concerns or desire to participate in the review and approval process for either this zoning hearing board application or the ultimate land development plan, which will follow, so long as they're just kind of kept abreast of the proposals and copied on the submissions. So with that, I can certainly make myself, Mr. Giannotti, and or Mr. Bum available for any questions. I guess before doing so, though, Mr. Bum and Justin, you heard the brief narrative that I offered in support of the application. Is everything that was stated in that narrative true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
So with that, I can make any of us available for any questions that any members of the board may have.
Great. All right. Thank you, Mr. Blackburn. So yeah, we will open it up now for board comment. So feel free if you want to direct any of the questions to your witness as an intern. Feel free, please. So we'll start. Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing I have, Mr. Blackburn, is that, is you said you still have to go through land development with the 62.9% for the storm water, because I don't see anything drawn on the picture here. I know you're going for maximum van parking space, but stormwater management, I think, would be kind of important thing.
I'll take that, Joe. So absolutely. So as part of the land development process and as part of the state process, since we're disturbing more than an acre, we do have to provide full stormwater management for all impervious on site. You get very little credit for what is there, and you have to bring everything up to the recent standards for both DEP and the township. So we're going to be providing underground stormwater management underneath the parking lot. It's going to be reviewed and approved by the township engineer and Bucks County Conservation District. But that is a land development item, and we already did testing out there. We got the results we need, so we will be providing stormwater management.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Scott. Hey, Bill?
Yeah, what is the applicant's hardship on this property? What is the hardship that the applicant is claiming on this property?
Well, certainly we have the existing building on the site is a dwelling, which is certainly not suitable. I would think for the use within the planned industrial park. No one would ever use that as a residential dwelling. So we are starting with that. We are attempting to ameliorate the issues attendant with attempting to operate a business out of a single family dwelling. So therein lies the need for the relocation, the demolition of the existing structure, and the relocation and construction of a new base of operations. In addition, as I mentioned, the issue here is the amount of traffic, unnecessary traffic, that is candidly plaguing not only this area, but the township as a whole. So we're attempting to address that issue. This would drastically reduce the amount of traffic throughout the township. So that is a hardship, candidly, on the entire township. I would suggest that is being addressed by allowing Amazon to have its parking in a more proximate location to its fulfillment center.
No, I understand what you're saying, but the actual hardship to the applicant is an Amazon problem because you're not representing Amazon.
No, we're not.
What I'm asking, which I'm okay with, is because the building, I understand the building's not designed for what he needs. I understand that. No problem. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
The path itself doesn't meet his needs for his business. I understand that part. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Al, you're muted.
Yes. So in this new parking lot, you plan on putting the Amazon vans in? Is that correct?
That's all but three. There's 83 spaces proposed, 3 of which will be reserved for alien fuel use. Those are the 3 most proximate to the building, and then the balance 80 will be for Amazon van parking. That's correct.
Okay, so the employees will come in, they're going to park in the main parking lot and then walk from the main parking lot and go get the van, go to fulfillment center and fill up. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And what's your game plans from getting them from that parking lot to that parking lot without walking in the road? You guys plan on putting a sidewalk or something in for that? Because I see there's a bridge and the road's tight there. You're going to have people coming.
Yeah, as a part of the land, point well taken. And as a part of the land development, we do have, I'm not sure if any of these plans, Justin, show it, but as a part of the land development, yes, sidewalks would be required and installed for not only Saldo satisfaction, but safety. Obviously, they're going to have to get from point A to point B, and they're going to do it on sidewalks. So I recognize it's not depicted on the plan, probably an oversight, but that will be required as part of land development, yes.
Okay, that's all I have, Dan.
Thanks, Al. Doug?
I'm good. My questions were answered. Thank you, Dan.
Great. Yeah, I have no questions right now. Again, any public comments, questions creep up?
We have no public comment.
Okay. Excellent. So any other further board comments, questions before I turn it back over to Mr. Blackburn to close? Okay. Thanks, Joe. Mr. Blackburn, anything you want to offer in closing?
I would simply reiterate that I think this is a good opportunity to address an issue that currently serves to encumber and be a burden on candidly several townships. The most principal among them, obviously, Falls, while allowing Alien Fuels a solar energy, green energy business to continue its operations within the confines of Falls Township. So I thank you to the extent it has not already been done. I would move Exhibit A1 into the record, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
I have no problem making a motion, but I was wondering, Keith, if what you had there, how do we proceed with this if we're going to be waiting on land management? If everything we go is depicted on the plans, it doesn't show sidewalks or storm management at this point.
Yeah, Scott, so that'll be an absolute requirement from the township before they would grant permits. So they're before us just for the use and dimensional variances. They still have to go through that entire process of land development. So we could, if that's what you wanted to do, you could certainly make a motion granting the use and dimensional variance. They still have to go through the entire process.
That's correct.
If I may, Keith.
Yes.
Once they go through the land development, we have a fully engineered set of plans. In the event there should be some changes to any of these numbers, the applicant understands that they may need to appear before the board again for additional relief.
Yeah, that will be the case. To the extent the impervious, wasn't able to stay within those confines, we would need additional relief. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Great. Scott, that sufficiently answer your question? Or?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. So if you'd like to continue to make that motion?
Yes, I move that the application of Bum Holdings Company LLC requesting a use variance from section 20928B and a dimensional variance from section 20928F of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow leased property on leased area. To allow leased parking area on property with principal use on another property, section 20928B, and a dimensional variance to permit impervious surface coverage of 62.9% instead of 50% surface coverage allowed, section 20928F, at the property located at 140A Old Oxford Valley Road, Langhorne, Pennsylvania, 19047 is depicted on the plans and in accordance with the testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that, Dan.
Okay, great. Scott, if you pull board, please.
Myself, yes. Bill, you're muted.
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
and Dan.
Yes. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Great. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Job, guys. Very good. Good questions.
Hey, Diane. I didn't see you in there.
I know. I deliberately did that. I didn't want to scare any of the applicants.
Oh, come on.
With my COVID-19 haircut.
Oh, come on.
Has the meeting been adjourned?
No, not yet. Let's call this meeting. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All right, do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn. Now you say whatever you want.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.